Well, Diane, let's not forget 2020 prospective draftees of the NBA applied to try to make it to the NBA, but out of the 270 applicants, only 58 will be picked in the draft on June 23rd, and that's going to happen at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Out of the 270, about 40 are international players with no U.S. collegiate experience. Kai Sotto is one of those guys. Now, remember, Kai did not make it to the NBA Draft Combine, which happened in the middle of May in Chicago. We talked about that in the first episode. But as his agent, Joel Bell, said, not the end of the world. It's better that he wasn't invited to the NBA Draft Combine because it appears, Diane, that at least one NBA team has already said if Kai Sotto stays in the draft, he will be drafted by that team. What team that is, we don't know. And Joel Bell is not exactly telling us.
That's super exciting. I can imagine how he's feeling, his family's feeling. They've sacrificed a lot, right, for his career. So let's hope that he does make it. Kinito, what does, let's say he gets drafted, like what would be like an entry level salary, potential salary for Kai?
Okay, Diane, what I did was, in anticipation of that question, I looked over the salaries of the rookies that played in the NBA this season. And the last draft pick of the first round of this season got a first-year salary of $1.6 million. And that translates to, close to 80 million pesos a year. And that's what Kai Sotto is going to get if he's drafted in the first round, at the very least. So he could go higher. The salary of every player in an NBA team also depends on the team's salary cap. Right. So the team has to manage all the salaries of those players, and they have to be within the cap. If they're over the cap, then they have to pay what they call a luxury tax to the NBA to make up for that override of the salary cap. But so, in answer to your question, it is no lower than about 18 million pesos a year for Kai Sotto if he's drafted in the first round. And we're hoping. Now, the international players with no U.S. college experience have until June 13 to decide whether they stay in the draft or they withdraw. And Kai Sotto has that option to withdraw. He is now undergoing tryouts. He's been invited to workout camps by 12 NBA teams at the very least.
That's a lot. All in New York or iba-ibang place? He has to go everywhere. So he has to go everywhere.
Yeah. And the word also is that towards the last portion of the NBL season, when Kai was playing for the Adelaide 36ers, he blossomed. He had a 21-point game.
So exciting.
And a lot of scouts' eyes opened up and they said, "What? This guy could be the real thing." And you don't find too many players who are 7'3" with the skills that he has. And, talking to Joel Bell, talking to all the people around him, I asked the question, is he going to be another Zhou Qi of China or a Wang Zhizhi who didn't last very long in the NBA? And they're saying, you can't find a 7'3" player with the skills of a Kai Sotto. This guy is a diamond. Diamonds are rare, and so is Kai Sotto. That's coming from Joel Bell himself.
A diamond from the Philippines that's
Imagine
playing
that.
in the NBA. And, to add to that, his work ethic, his determination, family support, and a whole country behind him cheering, praying that he makes it to the NBA, diba? Can you imagine what that will do to all Filipino fans? I mean, ngayon lang nga, you see every time there's an NBA game, it's like everyone's tuning. It's gonna become even more watched dito sa Philippines. All right,
he's going to be a symbol of inspiration and excellence. And let's not forget also to mention to our viewers that if Kai Sotto does well in the NBA or wherever he chooses to play, let's not forget 2023 FIBA World Cup. Kai Sotto will be playing for the Philippines, and that will be an amazing development. If he plays in the NBA, all that experience is going to bring to the Philippine side during the World Cup.